Hello and welcome to another session of Karen's Colours. I'm Dr. Karen and these are my colour conversations. It's that time again for another monthly reading, and this time we're going to be looking at each of your birthday months in terms of what will happen in December. For this month's reading, I've decided to use a very simple oracle card to accompany it. It's called the Mystic Journey Oracle, and it consists of a card with a single word. And let's see what it has to say that might accompany the readings that are to follow. I certainly hope you've been getting something positive out of the readings I've been doing this year. I'll continue on for a little while longer before I make a decision about whether or not to continue them. They haven't received a great deal of interest so far, but I'm extremely hopeful. And as Cash Peters would have it, just keep on. If it's your soul's journey, you'll get there. So that's where I'm going. All right, I'd like to welcome back those of you who have been following this series of sessions, and I hope that your colour readings for each month have had something of interest for you that's helped to guide you through that month. It has been a very tumultuous year across the world, and we're now coming to the close of it, and hopefully by the end of this upcoming month, we'll be back to some sort of normality for the new year for 2026. But for now, let's just look at December 2025. If you're new here, this is not the sort of reading that you would find in a tarot reading. This is done per month because we tend to resonate to our birth months regardless of our cultural backgrounds, and also because colours don't read quite the same as tarot cards do. But I hope you'll find it interesting enough to come back. Let's see, shall we? So let's now look at September people to see how their December 2025 will progress. And first we pick ourselves an oracle card to look at later in the reading. And now I want a colour reading for people born in the month of September to examine how their December 25 will progress. And we begin the reading with orange on green, cyan on yellow, grey on orange, and brown on black. There's only one colour that's been repeated here, and that is the colour orange. It appears as the action in the energy coming into the month and as the need or drive of the energy leaving the month of December. The underlying energy here, which permeates the entirety of the month for you, is brown on black. Now, black internally is generally a need to get away from things. It's a need to retreat, a need for time out. But it also tends to suggest a need to overcome a depressive phase. You may have been feeling pretty low. And if that's the case, in the real world, your reaction has most likely been that you have set yourself some goals, that you've learnt some skills to go along with those goals, and you have attempted to obtain them. But this is fed back into this needing to get away from things, needing to calm down, needing to settle. So in effect, you haven't had much luck when it comes to achieving what you have set out to achieve. And that energy is likely to permeate the entirety of the month because it asks you constantly, when no matter what you do throughout the month, take time out, reconsider what you have chosen to do. Now, coming into the month, we had orange over green. Green internally is a desire for something new. It's needing more space. It's needing to get away from something that has been restrictive and developing new values, new ideas, new opportunities. In the real world, that's been pretty hard to come by because everything you've tried has required you to get out of your comfort zone. Orange in the real world is an action of defending yourself, of being courageous in the face of challenge. So here, your desire for something new, for a new start, a fresh beginning, has led you to a situation where you've been challenged, and that challenge has required you to stand up and to confront whatever it is that is challenging you. Have you been able to obtain that new start? Well, it depends on what that new start is that you've gone for. If we look at how the underlying energy works with this, orange over black means that the time out that is necessary for you to consolidate your ideas and your beliefs and your values and also your desires has in the real world been the cause of quite a lot of that crisis management that you've now been forced to face. The orange is about having to survive an issue. And the issue that you've had to survive is the fact that you've been feeling pretty low internally. On the other hand, you have brown over green. The opportunity for new beginnings is something that you've been seeking. And in the real world, there are opportunities there. In fact, the opportunities are there in terms of learning a new skill, developing new ideas, new versions of what it is that you want out of life. And together, the green and the brown allow you to go ahead and develop those skills and to begin to make some sort of ambition that you can, on a very practical level, begin to obtain. By the middle of the month, you have cyan on yellow. Yellow internally is generally about fears and anxieties, but it can also be for the search for happiness. And considering that what you have found in the real world, or what you have created in the real world, is peace and calm and contentment and everything in its place as it should be, I would dare say that this particular combination is more a case of, I've been looking for something to make me happy, and now I have found it. This, however, is somehow connected with the underlying energy. Cyan over black means that when you have given yourself sufficient time out, sufficient time to retreat and to reconsider your options, in the real world, things have become fairly stagnant, fairly stable. You haven't actually had any major changes or challenges occurring for you in the middle of the month. On the other hand, brown over yellow means that your learning of new skills, your ability to get out there and remember the stuff that you have learned, instead of creating an anxiety, have indeed created for you the information that you need, the skills that you need to enable you to obtain some of your goals. So whereas at the beginning of the month, you were searching for something new and finding that the something new is in fact asking you to step well and truly out of your comfort zone. By the time you get to the middle of December, things will have started to stabilize. Things will have started to coalesce into something that is more positive for you. By the end of the month, this changes yet again. The orange that was the crisis that you were standing up to here at the beginning of the month now becomes an internal stressor. Orange internally is all about having to realize just what your limits are. Are you able to sustain whatever it is that you've done here in response to the underlying energies? Now, are you able to sustain it? And in the real world, there's real doubt about that. Do you even like what you're doing? Are you comfortable in the situation that you were? It looked really terrific back here, but now there is a degree of uncertainty. maybe even confusion about whether or not you made the right choice. If we take this outgoing energy and mix it with the underlying energy, you get grey over black. Now, grey is just simply the addition of some white into the black itself. So withdrawing inside yourself, searching internally for answers, can in fact create more confusion and more uncertainty than you would actually have expected. And that is because now that you are aware of what you desire internally, of what your needs are, externally, you're also very and truly aware that these are not forthcoming. On the other hand, you have brown on orange. Orange internally, that need to survive something, some crisis that has beset you, in the real world is asking you once again, do you have what it takes to create and achieve a particular goal that you have set out to achieve? And that stability that comes with that goal attainment, that being grounded and able to make something out of whatever it is that this crisis has forced you to examine, is something that can be quite positive, depending again on the choices that you've made and also on the experiences that you've had here. Because when we mix cyan and yellow together, we end up with a very pale green, and that pale green is basically taking a gamble. So whatever you've done here, where you needed to get away, you've created yourself a situation where you've had to stand up and be counted, confront something. You took a gamble, it seemed to pay off, but now, is it really paying off, or are you once again in a situation where you need to withdraw and start off again in a new direction? Let's have a look at what the missing colours have to say about this. You have black, but there's no white. There's no red, but you do have yellow and green. There's no blue, but you do have brown and orange and grey. There's no purple or pink, but you do have cyan. So here we have 7 colours or 7 sets of skills that are available to you throughout the month of December. What is missing are these 5 colours. And here we have the keys to what you could be doing to overcome this uncertainty and also to deal with the feeling of crisis that occurs as a result of the orange here. We have white, the ability to simply allow new experiences. Red, the ability to take charge of your own life, to make your own decisions based on your own desires. Blue, the ability to get yourself organized and make sure that what you are creating is in fact not just stable, but also something that is a pleasurable duty. Purple, the ability to have fun while you are at the same time creating something new out of something that was broken. And pink, the ability to not only love and be loved, but also to be vulnerable and to allow others to assist in those issues that you find yourself having difficulty with. So out of those 5 colours, which is the most appealing and which is the least appealing? Choose those 2 colours and put them into your life somehow so that every day you are conscious of those 2 colours. And when you do that, you'll find that the potential depression that is besetting you throughout the entire month of December will be less likely to cause you to have to work hard at something that you're not particularly interested in, but rather will take you further towards this enjoying the peace and quiet and harmony that arises when you have finally made a choice that will lead you to a middle ground, a ground where you are not entirely unhappy, but not ecstatic either about what you're doing, but just satisfied. Let's have a look at what the Oracle has to say. It says forgiveness. It's an interesting one because forgiveness is embodied within the green, because it has to do with your heart energy, with your ability to see and to deal with feelings. But it's also embodied here. Forgiveness. What is it that you need to forgive? What is it that you need to overcome? Could it be that you've been too harsh, either on yourself or those around you? I'm not sure, but I'm sure you are. Well, the reading has been fairly short this time. That's partially because of the time constraints. December is a very busy month for most of us, so I don't have much time, and I dare say neither do you. And I dare say that a shorter reading would be far more beneficial to you. But I do have an offer on the table. If you've gotten this far and you've actually listened to the entirety of the reading and you feel it has something in it for you, why not contact me on my Gmail account, which is in the description. I'll also put it in the show notes. And in doing so, take up an offer of a free personal reading that we can do either via Zoom, such as a discussion here and now, or I can do it anonymously for you. But you need to ask for it. The decision is yours. In the meantime, thank you for watching. I greatly appreciate it. And if you have any questions or any comments to make, those would be appreciated down in the comments section, which tends to be fairly bare most of the time. Anyway, may you have a wonderful December. May the colours that you choose work for you in a way that enables you to feel at peace and in harmony with the world and all around. And let's look forward to a 2026 that is a little less chaotic than this year has been. Until next time, bye.